To take this conversation further, Nicky joins us now in studio. Nicky, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Good to have you on the show this morning. Now, first of all, speak to us about, the inspiration behind this book.
Well, for me, this was really the level up from the last book. Once you've moved out of that survival space where you're stressed out and always on, and we bring our nervous systems back into that state of easeful flow, this is the level up to shine. This is really where we start to learn how to trust ourselves, or remember how to trust ourselves, and remember that we are already worthy.
Yeah. And I quite like what you said, that, when we are grounded in self-love and self-worth, we do not seek approval or validation from external forces or from other people.
Yeah, we don't give our power up to anyone outside of ourselves.
Yes.
We remember that we actually know what's best for ourselves. We don't, ascribe to those, what I call shoulds in our lives. We unshackle from those and actually start to carve a path that works for us, that celebrates our unique gifts, as opposed to all of those expectations that we thought we were supposed to live up to.
Nicky, how is this book supposed to help shift our perspective, in a way that would improve or maybe bring so much value in our lives?
It's crafted with incredible stories from throughout a lifetime to remind us that we've always been enough. And I take the reader through my journey. It's really my lived experience as well, to really tune back into our knowing, step out from those societal shoulds and conditioning, remember our self-worth, reframe a lot of those paradigms and perspectives that we've held in our life for so long. But it's also a bit of a workbook, because there's journal prompts at the end of every chapter.
Right.
So there's the awareness that you create through the stories and the work that I've put into the book, which is, as I mentioned, my lived experience. But then I ask the sort of reader to go through that journey and reflect for themselves.
Right.
There's summaries at the end, journal prompts, which I encourage people to work through. It's, looking at something and saying, I've got this.
Right.
Isn't the same as actually really owning it for ourselves and tuning back into that elegant power that we hold for ourselves right now.
Indeed. And having said that, Nicky, why is it so important for us to live authentically and deliberately, as it were?
Well, life's too short to live any other way. If the last 3 years have taught us anything else, trying to be someone else for everyone else other than ourselves is not a way that's going to serve us. It's not a way that's going to light us up. And it's definitely not a path of ease within our lives. If we're trying to be someone else or more for everyone else, often what happens is, we really tune out of that authentic power and joy of our own. And we need to step back into that and really start to stand within our own gifts and bring our best selves forward. It lights us up, and it's a contagious energy for everyone else. It tells everyone else it's safe to do that.
Indeed. And speaking of energy, how do we invite this authentic energy into our lives?
Well, I think we have to start with ourselves.
Sure.
We really have to own it for ourselves, get grounded back into ourselves, which does take work. It's not as easy as saying, just become authentic. We create that space for ourselves. We slow down, we stop. We really understand what serves us, what lights us up. And we step away from that picture we've always created in our heads of what life should look like. Rather, instead, we start to say, actually, this is where I am right now. How do I become more within my life, as opposed to trying to just do more? I think for too long we've been on that hamster wheel of achieving and delivering and doing more, forgetting that being more is a person, and it's always a balance, because we still have to do things within life, but being more, being a kind, being an authentic person, showing up for others, showing up for ourselves first. That's one of the most important things, because then everything else that we then do just brings all of those gifts with it.
Yeah. Nicky, I've heard so much criticism, especially against life coaches and motivational speakers. Some people saying that, these motivational speakers are speaking from a point of privilege. So how then do you tell a person who's watching this interview, who's been through so many hurdles in life and who's tried and failed, and fallen and risen again and fallen? How do you tell a person to rise up and dust off their feet?
So I'm not coming from one of those positions of giving you something theoretical or academic. This is from someone who's been knocked down multiple times in life. Yes, I am in a more, what I'm going to call, a privileged position from that perspective, working within a corporate, having been successful. But what I've really realized is it's about sitting with ourselves and actually saying, what do I feel is right for me to do next? Not what am I being told to do next. This isn't some kind of academic theoretical piece there.
Yeah, it's totally different.
I'm asking
What you've been
people-
told and how you feel.
Yeah, and my biggest message for people is, when did we stop trusting ourselves? That's
Right.
the shift I want.
Right,
I want people to remember that even when they're struggling, that they're worthy right now. They don't have to become, they don't have to achieve, they don't have to deliver more or qualify more. They're worthy right now. And if we take that sense of self-worth, where we unshackle from the shoulds in our life on the path we were told we had to take, that this is what success looks like for everyone, and we carve a path to success that resonates for ourselves.
Okay.
And that for me is the message I want to take to people, to stop, thinking that they have to do something else to be successful.
Okay.
To tune back into themselves, trust themselves, know that they are worthy and enough right now. And if we start to move into life from that position of power rather than force,
Yeah.
because I think often people have confused the two concepts for too long, that for me is where we can really help people to navigate a path that allows them to be more authentic within their lives.
Sure, that is so captivating. Let's talk about the Level Up guide that you share in this book. I mean, that aims to walk us through the steps to celebrating our own uniqueness.
So we have to sit down, and people often find it very hard to tune back into their own innate gifts. It's so easy to tell everyone else what they're good at, and also ascribe the things that we do wrong or our weaknesses. But it's very hard for us to sit down and celebrate the things that we do well, or that come easily to us. We often think that, it can't be that special. But we actually have to start to, and this is where I do recommend a process of journaling, putting your thoughts down on paper. It's amazing how putting pen to paper really starts to make the unconscious become conscious. We do that work to actually say, these are the things that come easy to me. These are the things that light me up. These are the things that other people, tell me I do well. And we start to celebrate that and do more of that. Because actually those were some of the unique gifts we were given within this life to show up and bring to the party. Not the 5 attributes we've been told within business or entrepreneurship that are important for you to have. And I think if we always think that we have to have those 5 things, we're always going to think that we've lost out on that universal lottery that says that that's what success looks like. We have to redefine it for ourselves. I'm not here to tell people that this is what success looks like. I'm asking people to say, take the time and build the path that works for you. Trust yourself from that place of self-worth, where we support.
Nobody else can do it but yourself.
No one else but ourselves. And I think for too long, we've given up our power to authorities, models, and sort of, academic theories outside of ourselves. And please believe me, I've collected more academic qualifications than I have use for, because I thought that used to be the path to success. I was chasing those gold stars outside of myself, looking for validation from everyone else other than myself, whereas in fact, I needed to just tune back into myself and what served me.
Nicky, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Great stuff. That was author Nicky Rowbotham, and she joined us this morning for a conversation about her recently published new book titled Embrace Your Elegant Power.